Israel has intercepted an aid ship heading for Gaza and detained a number of activists on board, including the Swedish campaigner Greta Thunberg. The Freedom Flotilla Coalition is trying to deliver humanitarian supplies to Gaza. Israel says the activists will be returned to their home countries and that the aid will be sent to Gaza along established lines.
These scenes capture the moments just before the interception of the Madeleine aid boat.
Calm down. Please, go to your places, ditch the phone.
The Israeli Navy said that it had ordered the vessel to change course because it was approaching a restricted area.
The maritime zone of the coast of Gaza is close to naval traffic as part of a legal naval blockade.
Israel's foreign ministry released this video and said it showed the intercepted ship safely making its way to the shores of Israel and that all its passengers will return to their home countries. In response, the activists released pre-recorded videos.
My name is Greta Thunberg and I am from Sweden. If you see this video, we have been intercepted and kidnapped in international waters by the Israeli occupational forces or forces that support Israel. I urge all my friends, family and comrades to put pressure on the Swedish government to release me and the others as soon as possible.
Right now they're jamming our comms.
The Freedom Flotilla Coalition, the organization that launched the Madeleine, has accused Israeli authorities of kidnapping the people on board. The United Nations Special Rapporteur on Human Rights in the Palestinian territories called Israel's actions outrageous.
Israel has absolutely no authority to intercept and stop a boat like this, which carried humanitarian aid and most than everything else, humanity to the people of Gaza. You know, there should be state navies breaking the siege instead of a boat of volunteers risking their life.
The Madeleine set sail from Italy on June 1st. The ship was carrying desperately needed humanitarian supplies for the Gaza Strip, which the UN warns is at risk of famine after months of Israeli restrictions on aid. Israel's maritime blockade has been enforced since 2009, which Israel says is to prevent the militant group Hamas from smuggling weapons.
Our correspondent Emily Gordine is in the Israeli port of Ashdod. That is where we understand the activists have just been brought to shore by the Israeli Navy. Emily, what's the latest? What can you tell us?
That's right, we're standing at a beach just north of Ashdod Port. You can see it just behind me where the Madeleine, the boat that was that carried a crew of 12 people from all across Europe, really, from Germany, France, the Netherlands, Spain, but also from Turkey and also from Brazil. And they've now arrived here in the port. It's unclear whether they will be taken straight to the airport from here or whether they'll be taken to a transit facility in Israel before then being deported. Ultimately, though, the activists here, they were intercepted by the Israeli naval forces on their way to Gaza. I think they knew from the start that they probably wouldn't reach Gaza, but ultimately their aim was to highlight the dire humanitarian situation unfolding in Gaza right now, which has been under an 11-week blockade. Only recently did Israel allow small amounts of aid trickle into the country, but not enough to meet the needs on the ground. Added to that, a new militarized aid distribution system that has made getting to that aid very, very dangerous for Palestinians. Now, the Israelis have reacted to this mission, saying that it is essentially supporting Hamas and Hamas propaganda. And Israel Katz, Israel's defense minister, has ordered the IDF to show the crew of this boat essentially a video of the atrocities committed by Hamas on October 7th when it attacked Israel and killed over 1,200 people and kidnapped over 250 more. Now, in terms of what happens to them next, in Israel, Adalah, a rights organization, is legally representing them. They say that Israel had no authority to actually intercept their boat because it was in international waters, and they have certainly called for them to be not just released but also to, in the future, essentially allow these ships to sail to Gaza.
Our correspondent Emily Gordine with the latest from Israel. Emily, thank you. Our coverage continues now with Francesca Albanese. She's the United Nations Special Rapporteur on the situation of human rights in the occupied Palestinian territories, and she joins us tonight from Tunis. It's good to have you with us. I want to talk about what we saw happen today. You have said that Israel had no legal authority to do what it did to intercept this boat. At what point did Israel violate the law?
Thanks for having me on the 600 days after the start of the assault against Gaza, which has literally pulverized 85% of the Gaza Strip through bombs and bulldozers. There is absolutely no legal basis that Israel can claim in intercepting, seizing, and capturing a civilian boat which posed absolutely no threat. It entered no Israel water. It was seized in international water. A boat that was sailing under UK flag, and so it was only up to the UK to exercise jurisdiction over the boat in international waters. So there is a combination of violations that appear of the law of the sea as an unlawful seizure of civilian vessel, all the more transporting aid, including baby formula, to a starving population. Of course, the aid is symbolic, but it exposes two things here. One is how ludicrous that a state that is starving, has been starving the population for 3 months, and it has led to the death of children, including babies, is given now the opportunity to distribute aid, which has turned distribution centers literally into an abattoir.
Well, Ms. Albanese,
and also,
let me.
Let me finish. I'm done. And also,
if I could, I just want to stay on the. I want to stay on the topic of the boat.
Boat posing to Israel.
But I just wanted to stay with the boat for a moment. The crew of the aid flotilla, they say that they were kidnapped by Israel. Is that an accurate description of what happened today?
You know what's interesting? That you and other Western media are scrutinizing the word kidnapped more than 600 days of Israeli fabrications that you have. I mean, Western media have.
Well, I'm just asking if you understood that that's what happened.
I don't think that kidnapped is correct. Unlawfully seized and detained is correct, which is even more relevant under international law because might qualify as a war crime. Yet another war crime in the context of a litany of war crimes that have left unpunished.
Well, what do you, Ms. Albanese, what do you hope will come out of this aid flotilla that was intercepted today? What will make it a successful mission?
A successful mission. I would like to see the end of the aggression that has killed nearly 6,000 people, including 16,000 children. Can the German people register for a moment this information? 16,000 children have been killed only by bombs and sniper fire. And this doesn't include those who have been killed by other means, lack of food, lack of water, lack of medication. And I want to see the end of it. And as of January 2024, the ICJ has put all member states on notice of the obligation to prevent acts of genocide, including allowing unfettered humanitarian aid. Not only this has not been permitted, but also it has become more and more precarious, and the United Nations have been completely disabled. I also want to remind the German public that Germany has a pending proceedings for genocide before the International Court of
Unfortunately,
Justice.
I hate to interrupt you, but we're out of time. But I appreciate you taking the time to talk with us this evening. Thank you.
Sure.